is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, and welcome to my video race of the week. I'm going to be covering two stakes races in this video. They're both from Santa Anita Park, one for Saturday, June 19th, one for Sunday, June 20th. This is closing weekend at Santa Anita, and I'm going to be offering $3 full cards over at the RunawayHorse.com from Friday, June 18th through Sunday, June 20th. And in those full cards, they're going to be running 11 races each day. So I'm going to cover all of those races with wagering strategies, pick 4, pick 5, pick 6 tickets, etc. And then on closing day for Sunday, June 20th, they're going to have mandatory payouts in all their pools, including the pick 6 pool. And I'll have tickets covered for that as well. So head on over to the RunawayHorse.com if you're interested in my discounted $3 full cards for closing weekend at Santa Anita Park. After Santa Anita, I'll take a couple weeks off on my full cards, and then I'll be starting full cards, daily full cards from Del Mar, beginning later this summer in July. Now, for this video, we're going to do the two stakes races, as I said. The first one is going to be the third race, and that'll be for Saturday, June 19th. The $75,000 Siren Lure Stakes for 3-year-olds and up, 6.5 furlongs. The scheduled post time for this race at Santa Anita Park on the turf course is 5:06 p.m. Eastern Time. 7-horse field, number 1, Canderel. Nice late run last time out. That was at this 6.5 furlong distance. Got a good amount of pace help in that optional claiming race. Rallied from 11 lengths back to win by 3/4 of a length. He's one that's in good form, obviously, and if he can get that kind of pace to chase, maybe he'll save all the ground, make a late run, and run as well as he did last time. The 2, Tatters to Riches. Now this is his first start. Talk about a layoff. This is a big layoff. December 26, 2018 was the last time this horse ran, and he was eased in the San Antonio Stakes there. That was over a route of ground. And he broke his maiden in a dirt sprint. He's never run on turf. He's a first-time gelding. Union Rags is the sire on this one. AP Indy, the dam sire. So he always figured to be a decent route horse, and they did stretch him out, and he won the Shared Belief Stakes in August 2018. But obviously something went wrong. He's been away from the races a long time. They paid $1 million for this one. He's a 6-year-old now, and we'll have to see. I think he's probably going to need the race. But he did have a bullet work back on June 2nd, 4 furlongs and 46 and change from the gate. That was best of 22. Number 3, Commander, one of 2 entrants in here for trainer Peter Miller, and Peter Miller is always dangerous in these turf sprint stakes races or turf sprint races in general at Santa Anita. His horses usually run well. And this one's run well in multiple turf sprints this year. And claiming 40,000 at this distance off of a long layoff. He rallied to win that one. And then he bounced in his second start after a layoff. And then he bounced back in his last 2 in the at 6.5 furlongs against Optional Claiming Company against Canderel. He rallied to finish second. And then last time in the Grade 3 Daytona Stakes, he was an even third. Texas Wedge for Peter Miller is your 2-to-1 morning line favorite. And they shipped this horse to Texas last time out. And for the Chamberlain Bridge Stakes, but that race was originally scheduled for the turf. It was moved to the main track. The main track was sloppy, and he ended up finishing an even third in that 7-horse field. So now he's back in Southern California. The 6.5 furlong distance could give him some trouble. In the Grade 2 Joe Hernandez Stakes at Santa Anita on January 1st at 6.5, he ended up finishing an even 4th in that 7-horse field. So he's one that I think in shorter races he's probably better. Umberto Rispoli is going to ride, one of the top turf riders in Southern California, him and Flavian Prat. And then look for this horse, I think, to sit in mid-pack, stalking the pace, and I think that Rispoli is going to try to save as much as he can for the late going. The 5, Wound Tight, his first start since March 2020 for Bob Hess Jr. He's typically a route horse, and I would think, looking at his form, he did run in a couple sprints and he didn't run well. That they're giving him this race, and then they're going to try to move forward in a turf route at Del Mar next time out. Number 6, Tilted Towers. He's 8-to-1 morning line for Phil D'Amato. Abel Cedillo is going to ride, and he's been riding this one. Now his 2 turf wins were both at 5 furlongs last year at Del Mar. So he's one that he may be waiting for Del Mar, a shorter 5 furlong turf sprint. That may be what they're going to maybe move forward in his third start after a layoff. Because he came off of a layoff at 6.5 last time out at Santa Anita in that Canderel race, and he ended up finishing third, just holding third by a nose after he made a run at the leaders, and then he got tired late. So I think the 6.5 furlong distance may be a bit more than he wants, and I think look for him to cut back at 5 furlongs at Del Mar. I think that's when he may move forward in his third start after a layoff next time out. Finally, number 7, Chasin Munny. He's your 5-to-2 second choice. Mark Glatt is the trainer. Flavien Prat is going to ride this one. He hasn't ridden this one yet. Now, this one started his career the summer of 2019, where he finished third in a turf sprint at Dalmar, shipped to Santa Anita, stalked and broke his maiden, and then he missed all of 2020. He returned January 2021 to win an entry-level allowance race at Santa Anita at 6 furlongs on turf, 6.5 turf against Optional Claiming Company. In March, he wired the field, and then last time out in a $70,000 classified allowance race against Gregorian Chant, Bombard, Chaos Theory, very good stakes horses. He ended up finishing 5th in that 5-horse field. Chased the pace. He was 5th. He was beaten 2 lengths. I think that was a better field. He has a bullet work on the training track for this. He's got that tactical speed and the outside post. So in this race, you could go different ways. I said I wasn't going to pick the favorite on top in here. I think Texas Wedge has a shot, but I'm not going to pick him on top. Commander for Peter Miller also commands respect, but I am going to go with number 7, Chasin Munny. I just think he has a good shot in here from that outside post. Flavien Prat is going to have him in a good spot throughout. There doesn't seem to be a ton of pace in here. He can go to the lead if he needs to. He can just track from the outside post and pounce and get the first run. Either way, Chasin Munny, number 7, my top choice in the Siren Lure Stakes. Let's jump over to Sunday, June 20th, to the 9th race at Santa Anita Park, the Grade 3 Wilshire Stakes. $100,000 race for fillies and mares traveling 1 mile on the turf course with a scheduled post time of 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Number 1, Quiet Secretary, one of several with speed in this race, went out and set the pace last time out and finished 3rd against Optional Claiming Company. Wired the field in an entry-level allowance race at 1 mile on turf before that. Stepping up, meeting other speed. Jessica Pfeiffer, the apprentice rider, is going to have this one certainly in the hunt throughout from the rail. Number 2, Brooke, went out and set the pace in her U.S. debut in the Grade 3 Megahertz Stakes. That was for Simon Callahan in January. Now she's in the Michael McCarthy barn. Umberto Rispoli is going to ride this one. Did show some decent ability in Chile. And we're going to have to see how she's acclimated after just one start in the U.S. Probably doesn't want to go to the lead. I think Rispoli might want to try to be a bit patient. There is other speed in this race. Looking at the next one in the line is the 3, Gagetta. This one for trainer Richard Baltus. Finished 2nd under Umberto Rispoli last time out in a 6-furlong turf sprint, and it's going to stretch out in distance. She's only run 1 time over a route of ground. That was in the Santa Isabel Stakes on the main track against Dona Veloce and Speech back in March of 2020. She's been sprinting ever since then, and we're going to have to see how she handles a turf route of ground in this race. She'll probably be forwardly placed. Corral for trainer Peter Miller. This one, very good off-the-pace turf sprinter, making her first start since August of 2020. This could be an interesting move, or maybe they try to run her over a route of ground here where she's 0 for 7 with no wins, no seconds, 2 third-place finishes at this distance. Or maybe they run her in this distance race and then they turn her back at Dalmar next time in her next start. That would be an interesting move. And also considering that her last 2 races of 2020 were both 5-furlong turf sprints at Dalmar. So I think that's what they want to do. They're going to give her this race, turn her back next time. Maybe she'll run better. Peter Miller's a very good turf sprint trainer. Number 5, Warren Showtime, lost her best chance at the start last time out. Legs Galore was able to get out there and set the pace. Warren Showtime in that 4-horse field stumbled at the start, lost her position there, was getting to Legs Galore late, but she really lost the race at the start. It was a quality effort. She's always right there in these turf races. 10 starts over the turf course at Santa Anita, 10 top 3 finishes, 4 victories, and she's very good at this distance. She's 5 for 12. So she will get more pace help this time out, and I think that she's certainly going to be right there in the top 3 at the end. Number 6, I just mentioned Legs Galore, and she's one of the horses that's going to try to go out and set the pace. She's 4 for 5 at Santa Anita. Nice victory in that Franz Valentine last time out when she just ran them off their feet. That's the way to run in a 4-horse field, short field like that. Just go, especially when they were stretching her out in distance. Just go and play catch me if you can. That's what they did. They couldn't catch her. So now she's going to probably try to do the same thing, but there is some other speed in here. Number 7, Stela Star, with Flavien Prat aboard, trainer John Sadler, making her first start since May of 2020. That's a long layoff, but she's run well off of the layoff before. In 2019, she won her final 2 starts at 7 furlongs in Ireland. Then she shipped to the U.S., and she ran in stakes races in the China Doll Stakes. She rallied from 11th to finish 2nd by a half, and Warren Showtime won that one. And then in her last start, she rallied from 14 lengths back in the Grade 3 Honeymoon at 1 1/8 to miss by a neck. and Flavien Prat rode that day. So she's one that she's training well, she's going to get pace help, and she should be heard from in the late going. Finally, Epidemia's Girl. This one's another one with speed. She tracked the pace back on March 12th, and she won nicely under Flavien Prat. And then last time in the Royal Heroine, the Grade 2 Stakes, she ended up at this 1 mile distance, stalking the pace and weakening to finish 8th, beaten 11 lengths. Running last there, Warren Showtime was 3rd in that race. She's going to be forwardly placed from the outside. Joe Bravo is going to ride. So in this race, Stela Star, certainly I respect her coming from well off the pace with Flavien Prat aboard. She may end up being the favorite. I don't have a morning line yet. They just drew this field not too long ago, but I would expect that she's going to certainly be one of the favorites, and she's one as my second choice in here. I'm going to go with the 5, Warren Showtime. I just like her consistency. I thought she ran well last time out in that Franz Valentine Stakes. Really didn't have a chance to catch Lakes Galore. I think this time she should have every chance to catch that one. She's going to be sitting back, making a run with Stela Star, and I'm hoping that she can get a jump on that one and win this race. So Warren Showtime is going to be my top choice in the Wilshire Stakes at Santa Anita Park. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in these stakes races closing weekend at Santa Anita Park? Again, $3 full cards at the runawayhorse.com for these 3 closing week stakes races at Santa Anita Park. And they're going to be running 11 races each day, and some good cards with good field sizes as well, and some good betting races. So that will wrap up this week's video. I'll be back next week, and I'll look at some more stakes races from around the country. Until then, good luck at the race.